This is the little dog. I and my youngest daughter had fished with Dad, Percy Stair, for a couple of weeks each summer from when she was 8 years old. Dad taught her about the controls of the boat. She learned how to read charts as well. When she was 11, we drove to Port Edward where we hoped to find Dad and his boat. We walked down to the floats and saw a light on in a Port Edward company boat. As I entered the pilot house to ask the manager to use their radiophone to call Dad and let him know that we were here to go with him, I heard, "Mayday, Mayday." I asked him to turn up the radio. He said, "It doesn't matter, I can't do anything about it anyway." I answered the call, "This is a PE company boat. What is your 1020, your location?" We were on the rocks on the left side of the Port Edward entrance facing PE. Our boat is filling up with water. We need help right away. "Would you mind if we use this boat to try to rescue these people?" I asked the manager. "Could you operate this boat?" he asked me. "The controls are identical to those on a dual-prop tugboat. Yes, I can." "Give it a try then," he quickly decided. "Untie the stern, daughter. I'll get the bow." As she went out to the door, I started the boat engine and ran to untie the bow. As I jumped back onto the boat, I reversed to clear the other boats at the float and put the transmission into forward. I put on the bow lights, riding lights, and the searchlight heading towards the opening. I placed the levers into full speed. This lever controls forward and neutral and reverse for the left engine. The one beside it does the same thing for the right engine, I explained to my daughter. If you're coming close to the rocks, you can reverse them individually to make a slight turn while backing away. If you want to turn the boat to the left in reverse, you turn the steering wheel counterclockwise. Right is clockwise. "Will I be operating the boat, Dad?" she asked. "Yes, sweetie. I'll have to use the skiff on the stern to go in to get them off the boat. You'll keep this searchlight pointed to their boat. That way I can see the rocks and hopefully use the waves coming in to roll over them." "Could you make tea for them?" I asked the manager, since I could see that he wanted to do something. He went down the galley and put water in the teapot and onto the stove. I had to drive out past the outer buoy and then turn in towards the beach. Look back at the lights from the buoy. You can see, drive straight at them to go into Port Edward, just as Dad taught us. Remember? "I remember, but why are you telling me this?" "If I fail to make it back, you'll drive into Port Edward and get other fishermen to come out to get us. The fiberglass skiff is double-hulled. We'll bob around until they come. Don't forget to tell Monica and Connie that I love them with all my heart. You already know that I love you. We will make it in one way or another." Grandpa said to keep our courage up. "We Indians do what we have to do. You'll make it," she said quietly. This 11-year-old was wise beyond her years. "Thanks, sweetie pie," I answered. With the searchlight on, my daughter located the boat. This area had large boulder-type rocks about 40 feet high under the water. The fisherman mustn't have read his charts. He was quite a ways into the island and sliding off a rock with each wave coming in. After reversing the engines to stop the boat, I asked my daughter, "Any questions?" "No, I can do it," she said. I went outside and lowered the small skiff into the water. After putting on a life jacket and grabbing the oars, I stepped into the middle of the skiff and placed the oar locks in the side holes and pushed away from the boat. "Be careful," my daughter hollered from the cabin, using the searchlight to show me the rocks. I quickly rowed into the stricken boat. I hollered, "Put on your life jackets," and hoped they heard me. When I reached the boat, "Lady in the bow, please," the man lowered his wife, complete with life jacket, into the bow. Then he dropped a little dog into my arms. Now he gently stepped into the stern. We only had about 4 inches of freeboard with all the weight in the boat. I began rowing towards the searchlight. I asked her to let me know when we reached the rock since I was facing the other way, rowing as hard as I could. "Rocks," he hollered. "When the wave hits the other side, tell me so I can use it to get over the rock," I asked her. "Waves," he hollered. I began pulling hard on the oars. Then the wave hit us just before I reached the rock. It lifted us up, and I rowed as hard as I could. The stern touched, but we slid off on the right side. "Keep it up," I said as I rowed hard to the next rock top. The plan worked 3 more times, and then we were in deep enough water to make it over the next rock easily. My daughter reversed the boat twice into the wind to keep away from the rocks and keep the searchlight in my direction. I was very proud of her. When I came up alongside of the big boat, she came out of the cabin and said, "Pass me the little dog." "Here we are about to drown and you want the dog. That's a fine how do you do," I kidded her. "Important people first," she laughed. We all laughed since the pressure was now off. The dog seemed to know that she was helping him. When she got him into the boat, he licked her face and she gave him a bowl of water. Then the lady was helped up by the manager and the fisherman, and then I climbed out and pulled the skiff back up onto the stern. Then I entered the cabin, reversed the boat away from the rocks again for a while, then turned the bow towards the buoy to round it and aim for the light on the beach, as Dad had showed me. The manager gave the couple sugared tea and cookies he found in the cupboard, and wrapped blankets around the cold couple. The fisherman said, "We're going to miss the tide and it's the best for sockeye." The manager said, "I called a radiophone into Prince Rupert and asked them to call the hospital and send an ambulance to the Port Edward wharf. The doctors can check out these people to make sure they're okay." "Good plan," I said. As we reached the outer buoy, I turned the searchlight onto the stricken boat and said, "Look, daughter." She looked as the boat slid off the rock and slowly disappeared under the water. "I think they're going to miss more than one tide," she said. "We got there just in time." When we tied up at Port Edward, the ambulance attendants took the couple, and I thanked the manager for the use of his boat. He said, "Thanks to you and your daughter, I would have never done anything like this before. A lot of things could have gone wrong, but both of you were very professional, and it seemed just like another day." My dad, her grandpa, must have foreseen something like this since he taught us everything that he could about the sea and boats. Thanks again. We'll now drive into Prince Rupert and find Dad tomorrow. Take good care of yourself. You were very professional as well. Your decisiveness at putting this $100,000 boat in jeopardy was real class. On the way into Prince Rupert, my daughter asked, "Did you notice that the couple didn't ask our names?" "Yes, daughter. He's a white fisherman. I guess it's just an insult to be saved by Indians. The little dog is your friend for life, though." That's it.